Ecumenical Goitrarian. There we go. I'm going to call myself gay fundamentalist ecumenist. What's up, man?
How you doing, Jeff?
Keeping it real.
Good. So I just had a couple questions because I've been reading the Fathers a lot, and I was just wondering how much you know about the Atonement.
I mean, I know the Orthodox position. I know the basic positions. I know the Protestant classical position. I mean, I know the Lutheran idea. What do you mean?
Well, I've just been seeing a lot, especially in like the classic like Orthodox circles, that it was just primarily the Christus Victor element to the Atonement. But I was just, because a lot of what the Fathers say, there's like a lot of penality to it. Would you agree?
The language is definitely there. I mean, Paul uses penal language, but the problem is that people are reading into that the classical Reformation assumptions.
What would be the classical Reformation assumptions in that case?
I mean, it could be everything from inherited guilt to spiritual punishment to damnation, purely imputed legal status. It could be any of those things. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it would be the case that there would be some guilt tied to what would be sin, right? I mean, that would be obvious for when Paul writes in Romans.
Yeah, but it's not obvious that guilt is transmitted to the descendants, nor is it obvious that that guilt is put on Christ.
And also, what was it we said too? Sin is concerned to a passion, not a legal state.
They kicked me off.
No, it didn't.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Okay, so yeah, so you came here to subvert, and then you're laughing because you thought you got kicked off when you didn't. So you just betrayed what you're actually after.
Well, no, it just said listener. I wasn't finished speaking, so that's why I was just like, it just suddenly kicked me off. My bad. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I jumped to the conclusion.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for me, I mean, it's what the Fathers say. I mean, even when you read John Chrysostom on his homily on the Annunciation,
nobody's teaching the Protestant doctrine of penal substitutionary atonement. This is retarded. So, do you think, for example, that by the 7th century, do you think John of Damascus would have a good idea about what the atonement is?
Yeah, I mean, he even speaks on the legality of it.
Again, you're equivocating on legality and terminology. I'm talking about exactly what the words mean and whether or not Christ himself became evil, became a curse, and what that exactly means. Do you know what John Damascus says about it?
I believe that Christ bore the sins of the world. Yeah.
Okay, is sin an ontological status?
No one would disagree with that.
Of course they would. Calvinists believe that it could be. What are you talking about? Is it an ontological status?
Yeah, as in it.
Okay, no. See, now you've already rejected. Now you've already rejected the patristic teaching. Sin is not an ontological status. It has no ontological being.
Well, I mean, let me clarify. I mean, no one would disagree that status is a privation, or a sin is a privation.
Oh, okay. So then it's not. So then it's not equated to guilt.
Well, we would be guilty insofar as we are liable.
Okay, but an infant isn't, and Mary has ancestral sin, but she has no guilt.
What do you mean? It's like, yeah, like
you didn't know that?
At the Annunciation, like it would.
Oh, she's not purified at the Annunciation. She's the spotless virgin by grace her whole life. So she has death. She's a daughter of Adam.
The Annunciation is. You're mixing that up. That's the angel Gabriel.
Yeah, you don't even know what the Annunciation is. That's when Gabriel announces Jesus' birth. It's not the Annunciation where she's purified. She's always purified, but Mary shows us that there's a difference between guilt and the punishment of guilt.
Yeah, obviously, like one would be.
How is it obvious when you didn't realize that? Because Mary dies, but she's guiltless.
Right.
So she has the effects.
She would be still subject to death.
So thank you. So that's my point. There's a difference between the guilt and the effects. That's our point.
Right, but there would still be a legality to it because that punishment is due course for man.
Okay,
It would be
is the
tied
punishment?
to the nature.
What is the punishment that's due to sin?
Death.
In
Obviously.
in a physical sense or also spiritual?
It'd be both.
Okay, so you think Jesus underwent spiritual death?
I think he experienced it.
Okay, that's heresy because no church father teaches that. That's the heresy. And you're anti-Trinitarian. How does the divine Son divide or split off of the Trinity?
He wouldn't in this case.
Then you just refuted yourself. You just said that he underwent spiritual death. So you have no idea what you're talking about. Why do you think that you are competent to tell me what the church fathers teach and you can't even work through the basics?
My point would be...
Yeah, you're gone. What's up, man? Faith?
It's exactly like the Protestants too. What do I always say? They always say, let's go to the scripture and read. And what's my response always? Why? You're retarded and you can't read. Like, what is going to the text going to help you if you're twisting it to your own destruction?
Well,
we've got the same thing with the sola patristica crowd. Is they think that they have enough virtue and spiritual wisdom and perhaps intellectual points or IQ points to be able to read these texts. And then what do you find out? They don't even know what they're reading.
Yeah, so John Damascus explains here at the end of book 3 exactly what Christ underwent when he died. He underwent no spiritual death or damnation. It is the severing of his human soul from his human body. And he explains it perfectly in line with everything that Chrysostom or anyone else teaches. Nobody in the patristic era teaches that the Son was damned, like classical Reformation teaching says. And he's refuted right here, chapter 28 and 29. It's the last, well, you could say 27 to 29, the last part of On the Orthodox Faith, John Damascus right here. Concerning the Lord's passion, he suffered in the flesh. However, his divinity never suffered because the divinity is impassible. That means that you can't have the Son, who's a divine person, being damned. He can't split off of the Trinity. And to be damned means you're not part of the Trinity. It's so stupid. But these people have no idea what they're talking about, but they're so arrogant. They're the most arrogant people online.
I also think that the punishment, the penalty, the wrath of God is that God's the cause of it, which is crazy because remember I found in St. Gregory of Nyssa a beautiful quote that said, how can life itself ever be the cause of death?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just refutes their whole thing that, oh, yes, the wrath is causally from God to kind of legally, satisfy divine justice. And it's like, that's insane to say life causes death.
Well, it's also rejected by the Byzantine synods, where you have the idea that God cannot be placated or paid with created things. And a lot of these people end up saying that it's the human nature of Christ that was the payment, because they realize it doesn't make any sense for one person to pay another person off. It's retarded in the Trinity, right? So then they say, oh, well, then it was the human nature. Well, the Byzantine synods point out that what creature could pay God off? It doesn't make any sense.